We at Educhemy helped in fulfilling the dreams of 51 UPSC toppers 2020. If you too have the dream to crack the UPSC examination, subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay up to date with your UPSC preparation. तैयारी आपकी, जिम्मेदारी हमारी।
One of the most important aspect of UPSC preparation is answer writing. Answer writing ka pareshani and the problems that you might face, you start thinking about it after the prelims are over. Just as the mains are approaching, everybody is scrambling for answer writing. But however, in the last couple of sessions I've seen, students who are freshers, who are just about starting the process of preparation, they also talk about answer writing. That's a healthy trend, but let me tell you some things so that you can clarify what exactly you need to prepare for answer writing. The common question that I'm asked is, one is around, sir, what do those question tags, what do those descriptive words mean? Analyze, discuss, elaborate, elucidate, critically analyze, comment. And I think to some extent, that's a hobby students have where they want to clarify those words. And I think the enough videos on those. Go up, look up the internet, look up the YouTube, Wikipedia. You have meanings of what those words mean. Answer writing is much more than simply knowing those words. Anyways, can we all consider answer writing as a work of art? Something like painting, something like cooking, where you must bring lot of colors, you must bring lot of ingredients, I guess salt, masalas, condiments, add water, boil, cook, add the paint, allow it to dry, then probably add perspective, add layers of some type of colors. So see answer writing something like a work of art. A work of art that demands you understand what the question is, then try to search in your memory what all topics you can drag out from the syllabus and from whatever you have read. Then think about how to organize all of that. What can come first? What can come next? What should follow what can you afford to compromise, and what you must elaborate on. So something like a beautiful music that you create, something like a beautiful painting you create, answers have to be written like a work of art. All of us know, okay, the three important parts of any answer: introduction, body, and the conclusion. And all of us know that answer should be linked to current affairs. The answer should be brief. Answer should be within some amount of page. The answer should talk about some of the issues and concepts mentioned in syllabus. But the problem is, nobody knows what does a good answer look like. Nobody knows, or most of us struggle when we say that write answers to the point. People struggle to find out what does writing to the point mean. When we say the answer can use pictorial tools, then we're struggling. What does a pictorial tool look like? Okay, add current affairs. Which current affairs to add and how to write about it is what probably is the challenge. I know of institutes who give you model answers, but honestly, they are not model answers. They dump content on you. The answer to be written in the examination is about 200 words, 250 words, 300 words maximum. So if I give you a document of 1000 words or 2000 words, that is not a good model answer. So when you are learning answer writing, it's very important that you have an idea about what does a good answer look like. And that is perhaps where I want to demonstrate some things about what is a good answer. So if I can start off, here is one answer to discuss. Let us take up this question framed by our team at Educhemy, and one of the answers that we have shared as a part of our test courses and MSP program. The question is, bring out the role of biotechnology in the health sector and also mention some steps taken by India in this direction. So 2-3 things very important. One is, most of the questions of GS are in the 15 marks range. Even in the optional papers, you have got 15 marks or 20 marks. So I think there is not much of a huge difference here. So you should know the marks, and 10 mark and 15 mark questions should not be written beyond 200 or 250 words on the higher side. If you can write 100 words answer for 10 marks, that's best. But that becomes a bit tricky. So here I'm showing you an answer that's written in about 150 odd words, 200 words, and importantly, an answer written in about 200 to 50 words, and importantly, within 2 pages. I give lot of importance to the page that you consume. For example, this answer, this is 1 page, if you can see, and the next page, we wind up the answer with some information, and finally it concludes in a short paragraphs towards the end with certain things about what are the prospects. So a 2 page answer, I think, is an ideal answer. So if you are looking at learning answer writing, look for these kind of content. Look at this question. So bring out the role of biotechnology in the health sector. So 2 page में लिखना है. You can't go beyond the 2 pages. So very quickly, what are the important roles? So the roles we have shown in the form of a schematic. Although if I look back, I would have appreciated if some of these discussions would also have been elaborated. At least maybe the ones which are very, very important, like gene therapy is important, transgenic organisms are important, a Nutri-Record is important, vaccines are important. So if you could add maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs around these 2-3 points, it would have been nice. And then directly, what are the initiatives taken by the government? So we have initiatives like ease of access, we have got Human Atlas initiative, Manav Human Atlas, Indigen is an important example of initiative, National Genome Grid. And then in the next page, you can see in a tabular format, this content has been elaborated. Students ask me whether the answer should be in the form of bullets or in the form of paragraphs. My answer here is, the answer is a mix. In certain issues which are not as important, you can go for bullets. Certain issues that you think are more detailed requirement is needed, you go for paragraphs. So it's a mix here. And that's what you can see in this page. So you have got bullets. So we have got bullets, 1, 2, 3, 4 bullets. Similarly, I have numbered my points so that it can be distinguished very well. Okay, and the next page you can see there's a tabular format where entire content is compressed. So this is how you can compress the answer, and very importantly, you will not miss the focus of the answer. Let us take up another question. It is often argued that farm subsidies are causing more damage than benefits they offer. In this context, discuss the feasibility of moving towards direct benefit transfer. So this question has been phrased in 2 parts. One is a statement that says that subsidies have problems. There are issues of subsidies, they cause damage. And the second part is what they're asking. Tell us about the feasibility of direct benefit transfer. So as a student, when you are attempting this answer, I've seen a natural tendency is the moment you see a familiar phrase, you tend to start writing about it. So I can see students attempt this answer as, this question as, write about the benefits of direct benefit transfer. But the question is not about benefits of this, it's about the feasibility, as in whether it's possible to move towards it or not possible to move towards it. So if you look at the answer, this answer, although did not demand that you write about the subsidies, but look at this paragraph here. Okay, one quick table, a pictorial depiction where they have shown a list of the subsidies and what kind of damage it does. And that too, just within less than half a page, finish off the reference to the first part of the answer. Then we talked about in a short sentence, the benefits definitely overweigh efficiency benefits, effectiveness benefits, transparency benefits, accountability benefits. So this is part of that there is an importance of DBT. But look at the next page, talking about feasibility, how much is it possible? So the focus should have been on challenges, and that is how the answer is listed. An example where we have a mix of paragraph and bullets. So you have seen some paragraphs in the previous page. Now you can see bullets. Bullet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And finally, towards the conclusion, you can see that DBT will minimize the damage, but we need to work on the challenges. We have to ensure that success of DBT farm subsidies and apply what we can do from our previous experiences. So this is what we mean by a good model answer in this particular question. So if I had given you probably 1 or 2 pages on all the aspects of DBT, that is content reading, but that is not how you learn answer writing for this particular question. I remember one of my teachers back when I was starting off my teaching career. One of my teachers told me very specifically that when you write answer to the question. A very strong emphasis on the word the question. We don't write an answer to a question, we write an answer to the question, as in write exactly what that particular question demands. So we can have a question like, what is direct benefit transfer? Discuss the merits. What are the problems of subsidies? How can direct benefit transfer overcome the problems? What is direct benefit transfer? Discuss the feasibility in its implementation. What is direct benefit transfer? Can it address problems of effectiveness and efficiency and transparency in maybe social sector support and the programs from the government? These are 4 different questions. So learn to understand the question first. Again, going beyond what I discussed, it's another question I would like you to consider. This is one answer I want to discuss with you, one on infrastructure and development. It reads, adequate investment in infrastructure development is a prerequisite for higher economic growth. Highlight the measures being undertaken to promote investment in infrastructure development in India. So in this question, with the background of that infrastructure is important for growth, it's asking you what are the measures for encouraging investments in infrastructure. So as a student, it's possible that many of us focus on the measures alone. For example, measure number 1, measure number 2, some finance company, some banking and financial infrastructure, something investment trusts, some monetization plan, and so on. These are the measures undertaken. But one of the things we teach is that your answer should not be list of points, but should be part of a discussion around a story. Do not ignore the statement with which the question starts. If you look at this particular answer, you can see there is a schematic that tries to emphasize, yes, investments in infrastructure are critical to economic growth. So investments in infrastructure leading to employment growth, connectivity, competitive exports, domestic consumption increase, and therefore economic growth. This is like the background which the first sentence was focusing on. And then, although the question did not ask what are the problems, but in this answer what we have done is we have mapped the measures undertaken in connection with the problems and the constraints also. So constraint number 1 is limited financing, and 5 or 4 measures on dealing with these problems of finance limitations. Problems of realization in PPP projects, and there are 3 measures. Hybrid annuity model. We have got revamped infrastructure viability gap funding. The problems in delays, and then we have got the current affairs here. The Pradhan Mantri Gati Shakti program that the government recently talked about. So see the answer not simply as dumping the points that you know, but dumping the points as a part of a bigger story. Like the example I gave you, the analogy I gave you was painting or cooking. You don't get a good food or good dish prepared simply by dumping the ingredients and the condiments. You don't get a good painting simply by dumping the paints. There's a form, there's a process, the time you must add some things, then you may need to garnish it and present it properly as a complete product. Answer writing requires that type of an approach. So for this type of answer writing, what's required is, number 1, you should complete and have complete control on the syllabus. And you have to go beyond syllabus also, because your syllabus does not mention directly, but you have to add current affairs, latest development, some programs undertaken. So your syllabus gives you the base in terms of what you must cover. but the exact coverage comes from the readings of the newspapers and the magazines. And then we give lot of importance to seeing what does a good model answer look like. See, if I do not know what does a hill look like, I cannot paint a good hill. If I do not know what does a painting of a flower look like, I can't paint a good flower. It's something like demonstration. What happens is, when you see content of 2000 words, 1500 words in a typed format using the diagrams and infographics from the internet, that does not give the right picture of what exactly will you write in the examination. You have constraint of pages, you have constraint of time and words, and importantly, you must draw the sketch in the examination. And that is where I think, to some extent, Educami has pioneered this process of giving you model answers. Model answers written within 2 pages, 150, 200 words, with hand-drawn sketches, exactly what an ideal student in ideal conditions can write in examination. Then students ask me that what if we can't reproduce this? Our objective is not to reproduce this. Why? Because in all probability, the exact question will not be asked. But if you have memorized, if you have seen couple of hundred answers, which are ideal answers, you can always improvise and have a very good answer. So if I summarize this process, do not see answer writing as a one-step solution. Don't see answer writing as simply one task to be completed. It's a continuous thing you have to acquire over a long process of studying. So look at the board. I'll explain that to you. I see preparation as a step process. The process starts with basics of NCERT. Then the process includes what we call as foundation courses. Foundation courses where the focus is on a syllabus. Then you need a transition process where you should consolidate. And revise. Because this basic study will require 2 or 3 months. The foundation can be 6 months, 10 months, 12 months, depending upon optional. Is it essays? It is GS. So approximately 7 to 10 months. Then if you don't consolidate this, what happens is you will forget this. And then you build over this. This stage is what I call as updation stage. Okay, a stage when you need to enrich whatever you have already studied. You have to go beyond syllabus. You have to go beyond the regular coverage of the foundation. Bring in current affairs here. And then probably you go for some amount of answer writing practice, okay, followed by give some practice test. So this I see as a 6-stage process. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, and stage 6. And in these 6 stages, I believe the basics can be almost entirely self or guided. It's up to you. You can join some process. The foundation course, I always suggest, should be a guided process, because with the humongous amount of syllabus that you have, if you do not have a mentor who can help you, handhold you, tell you what to read, what not to read, it's every possibility you lose out the focus here. This process of consolidation can also be a self process, but lately, okay, we can have sessions on revision supported by mentors and some teachers. And this process, I believe, should entirely be guided process. Enrichment, because you will not know what to read, what not to read in the current affairs updation. This answer writing requires somebody to check your paper and your answers along with giving you model answers. And then, of course, the tests. So it's a 6-stage process in answer writing. Yes, some of me ask me, sir, can we write answers at this stage? I said, you tell me how. if you do not have your current affairs in place, if you do not understand the importance of current developments and advanced concepts, how can you write answers when you are here? Or if you write answers when you are here, you're still missing consolidation. You don't remember things. Think of answer writing, like I said, it's cooking. In the shelf, you should know what type of masalas and condiments you have. You should know what type of vegetables or ingredients you have. You should know what are the additional garnishings you might need and what are the salts for that. If you do not know the entire cupboard that you have for cooking, you can't cook a proper dish. So without memorizing, without consolidation, if you jump here, you always will write half-baked answers. So answer writing, okay, the right type of answers start here. But yes, some of you can consider to write maybe some amount of level 1 answer writing here, and you can do the level 3 and level 2 answer writing here. Level 1 are the straight questions. What are fundamental rights? Discuss the center-state relationship, okay, based on some article. Write a note on ecosystem productivity. Write about what is the techniques of measuring of GDP. How is poverty calculated? Straight question. But these are the higher level concepts and the applied concepts. The terms go beyond syllabus, and here you require analysis. So level 2 are the topics beyond syllabus, and level 3 are the applied ones. But I think the more important answer writing is here, not so much here. So if I consolidate and summarize, what is it that you require for good answers? Number 1 is you should have a complete control on the syllabus, and try to also know the scope through the previous year's questions. You cannot be groping for syllabus and looking for whether it's covered or not. You have to know this very well. You must have a very good command on current affairs. So those of you who have not done newspaper reading and current affairs updation, if you write an answer, your answer will be half-baked. And third, you need to be shown, okay, demonstrate good answers through certain model answers. And these two are part of your content development. They're part of the ingredients. And this is part of demonstration. You are seeing what a good answer looks like. And using all of this, your answer writing happens only if you actually write, only if you actually practice the answer writing. You cannot be reading and listening to videos alone, but get on the table with a pen and paper, see the model answers, reproduce them, memorize them, and actually practice answer writing. So answer writing is a very, very important part of a preparation, but understand answer writing is not about theorizing. Answer writing is not about knowing the nuances without actually doing it. So I welcome all of you to start the process of answer writing the way we are discussing. You may join us, okay? You may be part of our courses where on average we support you with a couple of 100 model answers. We are running MSP programs for the mains examination, mains support program, where we commit to give you 150 to 200 answers that you can memorize and reproduce around the questions that we expect the most. Last year, okay, almost 1/3 of the questions could have been answered going by our MSP program list of questions and model answers. So that's for model answer writing. I hope you use this understanding and start off in the process. Thank you.